Football is an emotional sport, full of excitement and intensity. But South Dakota State assistant coach Luke Schleusner's approach to the game has always been a little different.
Yes, he is a laid-back guy. He's told us many times that he's not a morning person. So when we come out here for morning practices and he does scream, then that's his reasoning lies, just because he's tired or hungry.
I'm not a yeller and screamer. I'm pretty much calm, cool, and collected. And even when big things happen, I don't get too excited about it.
That composed mentality paid off 20 years ago on a soggy night in Florence, Alabama, when Schleusner was a wide receiver at the University of North Dakota. UND was down 14-10 to Grand Valley State in the Division II National Championship game, facing a 4th and 4 from their own 41-yard line with under a minute to play.
The rain was starting to come down a little bit harder at that time, so you're kind of thinking that the odds are against you.
Some of the old linemen say, no, it's not going to go down this way. We were all, it's just hearing some of that chatter.
They were saying, we're not going out like we did against Omaha 2 years ago. We're not going out how we did this. We're going to get it done. And those guys, they play with intensity. Us wideouts, we were just kind of hanging out, relaxing, and we're kind of like, well, let's see what play they call.
So we get to a 4th and 4. We call our favorite pass play, and there's nothing fancy about it whatsoever.
When they called the play, I knew there was a good chance I was getting the ball.
I was going on to the next play. I wasn't expecting anything else to happen except, okay, move the chains and let's get the next play ready to call.
I didn't really see it when it was thrown, so it's like I didn't see the ball till it was about halfway there.
And the next thing I see is Luke headed down the sideline.
We had wide receivers. Danny Graff is almost out ahead of him, getting in front of blocks. Just everybody did their job on that play. It's just awesome.
Just the pressure of the play and what was happening, I don't think I really breathed. When I got tackled, I got up and I kind of slid. It was wet, so I hydroplaned into the end zone, so I kind of looked around. I didn't know if I scored.
I was just like, yeah, awesome, and we scored, and we're, get off the field, and sure, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and we have to kind of regroup, but man, it was just as, business as normal, get back up on the line.
Fortunately, the sideline was very calm. The coaches knew exactly what to do, and we got our goal line package in the next play, and just did a play to Jed Perkarovich, and he ran in for the score.
The play's designed to get 5 or 6 yards, and I think I've probably caught 10 to 15 passes on that play all year, and the most I'd ever got was 10 yards, but what can I say? I broke a tackle, and all of a sudden I just saw a lot of green.
North Dakota celebrated its first national championship that night, and it was Schleusner's name that was etched into history forever.
Obviously it's a special memory, and just to kind of be part of that and be the guy that made the big play. And I kind of laugh. The players give me a hard time. Even when we went and played North Dakota last year, they got my picture on the wall there in the Alaris and on the game field.
To have Luke be the player that had the opportunity to make that play, you couldn't have a more humble individual that will wear that crown for for the rest of his life.
His playing career ended that night, but his involvement in college football was just beginning. After 3 years as a graduate assistant at Western Illinois, Schleusner took a job at Minnesota State Mankato as a receivers coach and recruiting coordinator. It was there he stumbled across a diamond in the rough late in the recruiting process by the name of Adam Thielen.
Adam came on a visit actually in late January, right before signing day, like a walk-on day, and we didn't really do anything with him. He was such an athlete in high school, but he didn't spend a lot of time in the weight room. In the summertime, they hold the Minnesota All-Star Game practices, and we went to like a coaches social to talk to the high school coaches, and they were just raving about this Thielen kid. Like, man, he catches everything. He's been unbelievable this week. Our head coach is like, well, I think we can do $500. I think Adam was maybe thinking he was going to play D3 basketball, and didn't. It probably worked out well for us that Adam didn't have a plan, because it was like mid-June, and he was still like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do this. Adam was an extremely hard worker and competitor, and a great guy too, so always positive, upbeat, so he was really easy to coach and fun to coach, and just so excited for him and his family, and what he's been able to do with his career.
After helping turn Mankato around, Schleusner got an offer to head back to his alma mater in Grand Forks during one of the most turbulent and difficult stretches for the program.
Went back to North Dakota, and obviously that was a tough time with the transition going on, and the Sioux logo, and joining the Big Sky. There's a lot going on at that time, and it is what it is. We didn't get it done. So then I had to look for a new opportunity.
He found that new opportunity down I-29 about 270 miles south in Brookings.
Now you can loosen a little bit, Jaden. There's not a tight end on the ball.
Helped in part by his old coach from UND putting in a good word.
John called me and was asking me about Luke, and so I gave Luke the best recommendation that I could, and I'm glad that Coach Stiegelmeier gave him that opportunity, and I think it's paid off for him.
It's just really been a great experience.
Schleusner has played a key role in helping build the Jackrabbits into a Missouri Valley power, and this past spring, it was almost like deja vu from 2 decades ago. SDSU just a 4th down play away from the program's first national title. But instead of a euphoric feeling in the final seconds like he had in Florence, it was a painful one in Frisco.
Really just heartbreaking, because again, we're inches away from being national champions. So, and it's tough because, you see it's kind of like the Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last, obviously it's an amazing accomplishment, but it was still short of our goal.
And I tell you, there's not a program at the FCS level that doesn't deserve to win a national championship as much as South Dakota State. I really do think that they deserve to be national champions, and for Luke to be a part of that program, it'll just make the time when they do win it all the more sweet.
Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen isn't the only pro that Schleusner has helped develop. He was also the tight ends coach at SDSU when Dallas Goedert exploded onto the scene, eventually becoming a 2nd-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2018. Now, Luke's mother, Ann, also said their family wasn't that big into football when Luke was growing up, but keenly remembers him using his Light Bright toy to set up formations when he was just 4 years old.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.